Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Again, I am Tom Blair. I'm the St. Louis District Engineer for the Missouri Department of Transportation. And here we are ahead of a major winter storm that is expected to impact Missouri this weekend. The National Weather Service is now going to come up and share the latest forecast details so that we know what to expect. So Ben, the floor is yours.
All right, so we are looking at 2 rounds of snow with the snowfall event. The first one's going to arrive tomorrow, probably around midday. That should last into the evening. This round of snow is going to be the lighter of the 2. We're only looking at probably 1 to 3 inches in the St. Louis area. I'll also add that this round of snow is a little bit more uncertain than the one that's going to come the second round. That's because there's going to be a tremendous amount of dry air over the area. In fact, that's what's bringing the cold air right now as well, is that really dry air. So that might delay the start of that first round of snow a little bit, and it might actually eat into the snowfall totals a little bit. But I want to emphasize, don't let that first round fool you, because that second round is going to pack a punch. That's going to arrive early Sunday morning, probably sometime after midnight, and last into the afternoon, if not into the evening. That round, we could see an additional 4 to 8 inches, and we're much more confident in that round of snow because it is going to be primed by that first round of snow. And so we're almost certainly going to see impacts with that. If you've been outside today, you know it's already very cold, and it's going to remain very cold throughout the duration of this event. It's going to be all snow, and any snow that does fall is going to stick really efficiently because the ground is so cold already. In fact, we're expecting pretty extremely cold temperatures as we get into Monday morning, where we're looking at temperatures probably around 0, wind chills getting close to 10 to maybe 15 degrees below 0 on Monday morning. Again, I want to emphasize, don't let that first round fool you. You might, get to tomorrow afternoon and think, oh, this isn't that bad. I can get out there. I can be fine. When that second round comes on Sunday, especially Sunday morning, I think we'll really start seeing some pretty significant impacts with all that snow. So that's all that I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Now let's talk about MoDOT, what MoDOT's doing, and how the public can help us. So MoDOT activated our statewide winter weather response on Wednesday. We have approximately 3,000 team members that will be working 2 shifts per day to cover and ultimately clear over 33,000 miles of state-owned highways. Our MoDOT crews, our plows, and our equipment are ready, and we'll be working around the clock throughout this storm until the roads are clear. We have shifted resources to the hardest hit, wherever the hardest hit areas will be, but we have shifted resources in anticipation based upon the forecast that Ben and his team talked to us about, and we have a full supply of salt and other materials. But with this forecast, especially with the extreme cold and the large amounts of snow that they're talking about, the treatments that we will have in our arsenal will have limited effectiveness. Snow will accumulate, and the only way to clear that snow off the roads is to plow it. And that plowing will take time. So there are a few things that I'd like to say on behalf of MoDOT that we could really use everyone's help with. We are asking you to help us perform our job by preparing yourself for this storm. We're asking you to please stay off the road if possible, to give us the room to most efficiently and effectively clear those roadways. We're asking you to please plan ahead. Finish essential travel before this snow begins. We're asking you to avoid all that unnecessary travel during the storm. If you must drive, please listen to your local media. Go to MoDOT's traveler information map on our webpage at modot.org, or you can download our app for the Missouri Traveler Information app. Please, if you must drive, buckle up, put your phone down, slow down. Give our plows and our emergency response vehicles that must be out there plenty of room to do their work safely. Please do not tailgate, and please do not pass when this storm is hitting and the roads are not cleared yet. If you do find yourself sliding off the road, we always encourage you and want to remind you to stay inside your vehicle, keep your seatbelt on, and wait for help to arrive. One of the unnecessary things when we're talking about snows with this amounts is that as we plow the snow, many of you have called and talked to us about this, we block your driveway. It could be your driveway to your house, could be your driveway to your business, but we're pushing snow from the middle of the road to the outside of the road, and that's where your driveway. Here in the St. Louis region, we have a lot of driveways. That's the way it works. So one thing I want to ask is all of you that are clearing your driveway, please think about it before you push all your snow into our road. That is not going to be help for the safety of everyone, and that is definitely not going to help our team get out there and actually clear all the roads efficiently. We have many cases where we have to go back to a road because people have pushed their snow into the road that already has been plowed. But with that, I want to give you some good news. If you haven't ever seen it, you can go to MoDOT.org or you can just Google it. We have a really good video out there to give you some secret tips about when you're plowing or clearing your driveway, how you can minimize the amount of snow that we push into your driveway when we come by. So again, check it out at MoDOT.org or just Google the driveway video. Very popular video this time of year. Now I want to turn it over to Bob Becker, our maintenance engineer, to dive a little bit deeper into what the MoDOT team here in St. Louis is doing this to prepare.
Yes, as Tom said, we've been preparing all week for this storm. You know, we've got our equipment ready, we've got plenty of material, we've got our folks in place, so we're ready to go. We're going to bring folks in at midnight tonight, so we're well ahead of this storm. And then we'll get on our normal routine and doing our 7 o'clock shiftings. We'll run 24/7 until this operation's over. This is a statewide event. So we've got 1,500 trucks statewide. We've got about 200 in the St. Louis area we use. We've moved resources around, moved people around so we can fully staff our equipment here in the area so we're as effective as we can be to get this snow cleared as soon as possible. Except we did treatment ahead of the storm, but as has been said many times, this weather is going to be extremely cold. It's going to limit how well our treatment works. So this is mainly going to be a plowing event. So we're going to be doing plowing, trying to get that stuff off the road as thin as possible because we don't want any refreeze if we're using any types of materials. So that is a concern. You know, we're ready. We've reviewed those construction zones. That's an area of concern. Make sure that our folks know how to handle those, how to get that snow off the roadway. There's a lot of shifting of lanes. There's a lot of barrier out there in several locations. So we just need people to be careful about that, and we are going to get those cleared. Like I said, this is a plowing event. And with this much snow coming down over the weekend, we work our priorities as we go through. Our top priorities, the interstates and major roadways. That's our top priority. That's where we spend the majority of our time when the storm starts. Then we'll move to the secondary roads. And we'll get those taken care of, get those hit, and then we get our minor routes. You know, we get on those lettered routes out there. They may not be hit but once per shift. So it's going to take some time, especially during a storm. And with this storm and the limited treatment options we've got, and when it comes down to that, this is going to take a long time to get cleaned up because those temperatures are extremely cold. So give us some time. This is going to take a while to get cleaned up after the storm, especially this much snow that's coming in. If you need to know what our roadways are like, as Tom said, we've got our travel information map out there. That's a good resource to know what conditions are out there before you get out there. And as always, give our plows plenty of room. I mean, they're going to be out there trying to get this done. Except especially on Sunday when things are coming down pretty hard, there's going to be a lot of snow. We're going to be out trying to get those things open. Give us plenty of room. Slow down, give yourself plenty of room. As this changes, like I said, those intersections, those ramps, those bridges, those are those first things to get impacted. So please take your time and be careful when you're out there. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bob. Next up, I want to invite a couple of our partners. First, we have Sergeant Dallas Thomas from the Missouri Highway Patrol. Dallas Thompson.
Well, good afternoon. First off, I just want to say thank you to our friends in the media that's here to help us get this safety message out. We can put all kinds of stuff on our social media platforms, and a lot of people see it, but a lot of people don't. So you truly help us to reach these masses of people to help us get this message out for this weekend. So as you just heard, snow's coming, and there could be a lot of it, depending on where you're at. So whether you're along I-70 or further to the south where there may be more accumulation, our roads are going to be impacted. All of our roads are going to be impacted. All right, so here's what we're asking. If you don't have to travel this weekend, don't. Just stay home and help us to keep the roads more clear of traffic. The Highway Patrol is going to be out working this weekend. We're going to be working with MoDOT. We're going to be working with other local agencies. We've adjusted our staffing levels, so we're going to be running 24-hour coverage across all of Troop C. But we can't be everywhere at once. So if you find yourself in a crash or a slide off or your car simply breaks down, understand it may be a while before we can get to you to send you any help. All right? So be prepared for that. Along with this snow is coming some bitter and dangerous temperatures. We're concerned about that as well. We don't want you to find yourself in a situation where your car's broke down, is disabled, and you don't have a heat source to help keep yourself warm. So the best practice for this weekend has been mentioned several times is just to stay home. Stay home, stay warm, stay safe there. If you do have to travel, we understand that some of us have no other choice, but if you do, be prepared. Have your little go bag in the car with you. Have blankets, maybe extra coat, a hat, some gloves, phone charger, maybe some snacks and water in case you find yourself waiting for a long period of time for help to arrive. Remember, we've been through these events before. We've made it through them. We're going to make it through this one, all right? And you can help us to make it through it a little easier. If you can stay home, stay off the roads, that allows our road crews the opportunity to clean the roads off more efficiently and quicker to get things back to normal. If you are out, you do find yourself, you slid off the roadway or been involved in a crash, like Tom just mentioned a while ago, stay inside your vehicle. Don't get out, don't get to walking around, because if you slid off, it's a high likelihood someone else might slide off in the same exact spot, and you could be that pedestrian that gets struck by another vehicle. So stay inside your vehicle, keep that seatbelt on, and call for help. If you need help, you can dial 911, or you can dial *55 from your cell phone. That will get you to the nearest Highway Patrol headquarters, and we can get help out to you. But again, depending on what the situation is and the call volumes, it may be a while before we can get to you. And you can always follow us on our X account at MSHP Trooper C. We're going to do our best to keep that updated with any major incidents and road closures.
Thank you, Dallas. Now with our final partner, we have Jim Farmer with the State Emergency Management Agency.
Good morning. Again, I want to reiterate thank you to the media for helping us get out this message. As we've heard over the last couple of days, we've got some severe winter weather that's going to be impacting the St. Louis metropolitan area. Due to that and the dangers of the potential dangers from that can impact damages throughout the area and statewide, Governor Kehoe signed Executive Order 26-05. That executive order allows for the State Emergency Management Agency to activate its emergency operations plan. And what that does is allow for State Emergency Management to gather all of the resources and coordinating agencies at our State Emergency Operations Center and positioned throughout the state. This will ensure that we can coordinate as best as possible for the benefit and welfare of all Missourians. We will be having those personnel throughout the event as needed throughout 24-hour periods. What I will say, that's how the state is gathering its resources and how we're going to be prepared. What I will say individually is that the State Emergency Management Agency is asking everyone, just like it's already been said, to please have an emergency kit ready to go. Have batteries, have flashlights, water, non-perishable foods, and that sort of thing. Please check on your neighbors, especially the disabled and the elderly, and make sure that you look after any pets that you have as well. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our partners and to the public for your cooperation. This is truly an all-hands-on-deck effort. The MoDOT crews, law enforcement, emergency management, and you, the traveling public, working together. Plan now, stay home during the storm, and give our crews the space to work. It's going, as Bob said, to take some time after the snow stops falling to get those roads back to near normal conditions. Go to our traveler information map, stay tuned to your local media partner outlets to understand when those roads are actually near normal and it is safe to get back on the roads. And thank you to the media partners for helping share all of this message and keep all of us safe. Together, we can all keep Missouri safe. So with that, we'll take a few questions for anybody on the group, and then we'll break up.
What's MoDOT staffing like right now compared to last year about this time when streets like Olive were covered for a couple of weeks? And what was the timeline look like compared to that big snow last year?
On staffing, we're always hiring. We have a great need to hire, but as Bob said, and I've said also, we have a lot of team members. 3,000 team members across the state. We're moving them around the state as necessary. We do not currently have any major problem with staffing or any major problem with any equipment or any other needs. We need room to perform.
And then will this timeline for removing snow and clearing roads look pretty similar to last year when we had the big snow in early January where we had several streets?
Every storm is slightly different, so every timeline would be slightly different. The thing that we like about this one is that it's not forecasted like the January one to be all this layered stuff. This is, as National Weather Forecast said, it's largely snow. That's nice. We don't really like the extreme cold temperatures that they talk about. We like 32 degrees better.
From a removal standpoint, is there much difference between 8 inches of accumulation versus 11 or 12 inches of accumulation?
The more accumulation you have, the longer it takes to plow it off.
What will you guys do differently from November snowfall, since this is a different kind of snow than in November?
Well, if you're talking about this, we had multiple storms right after Thanksgiving. We always do after action reviews, and we always learn from every storm. I am sure we'll learn stuff from the storm that we're about to encounter, and we're always trying to incorporate those lessons learned into our operations. So with this storm, with the November storm, it was a slightly different storm. I think that the thing that got everyone's attention was the inaccuracy of the forecast, triggered then by a lot of people jumped on the roads and caused gridlock on the roads. It was similar to this storm in the fact that it was a snow event. But as Bob said, you have to plow to remove the snow. You can't melt it off, not that amount of snow that came down. And so we had to have room to the roads. That's why we're really leaning heavy on. We really need everybody to pay attention and do not get on the roads when the snow is coming down and when we need to be out there plowing.
What is your pre-treatment made up of?
Well, treatment, there's lots of things in treatment. So in this conversation, I don't really want to get into all the details of what treatment. We have a lot of arsenals in the toolbox as far as what treatments we put on the road and all the different conditions and factors that we use to decide which treatment Bob and his team are going to put on the road.
That ends our news conference. Thank you all for coming out.
Can we ask a few more questions? We came all the way here. We have a few more questions to ask.
You're able to get help to leave that there. What's the timeline for then having the responsibility to have it towed? Or
Normally, we'd have 24 hours to remove a vehicle. In a situation like this, with the weather the way it is, a lot of the tow companies are going to be extremely busy responding to other calls. So we're probably not going to be sticking to that 24-hour time frame, but try to get back to it as soon as you can. And as soon as the weather is over, especially, reach out to a tow company, or you can reach out to us and let us know so we can put you on a list to try to get that removed at that time.
I have just 2 more questions from MoDOT. So one is, headquarters said yesterday that crews are only pre-treating areas that get icy, specifically areas with stoplights and low spots. So why are you pre-treating the icy areas with pre-treatment that could cause ice? If you could just explain that a little bit more.
MoDOT, with every storm, we have to decide how to treat before the storm. With the storm, we've made some of those decisions, and as our headquarters identified yesterday, that's how we treated them.
And then, I guess, what's the plan of if the pretreatment causes ice?
Again, we're out there. We have said we have 3,000 employees across the state, 1,500 trucks across the state, focused on over 33,000 miles of state roads. We're going to be working 24/7. We're going to be reacting to anything that Mother Nature throws onto those roads, or any of the crashes. We'll be working with our law enforcement partners to get those cleared as safely as we can.
We'll take one more question, and then these guys have to get to a meeting, so we have to go.
I didn't get to ask a question. Can I ask one?
She asked,
Just for SEMA, if you could talk more about how this executive order is changing things. Have we had similar orders before, and can you get into specifics about what this one means?
Certainly, I'd be happy to. So what this executive order actually does during what we like to call blue sky days, right, where when everything is normal, we don't have storms that are going on, there's a certain level that the State Emergency Management Agency can or cannot do. And what that executive order does is to allow for the State Emergency Management to activate their emergency operations plan, bringing in multiple partners to assist, since a storm like this is not going to be relegated to just one agency or another. So that's really the best that I can describe that. What it does, it brings in collaborating partners to help manage this event.